Morning, ARB sports fans. It is Saturday. We're going to go to the Midwest Monster today. Take in the Monster for the second time this year. See if the second time around is better than the first. My expectations are pretty low because most of the time when you see shows that pop up multiple times after they had built up a lot of hype around the first show and then the other one follows it up, it's sort of a bit of a letdown. But that's not a bad thing. It just means that it's sort of setting into its its groove, so to speak. I heard the venue that they're using actually got sold recently to another buyer, so I'm not sure they'll be able to host that event if they do it next year. Kind of figure out a regular schedule, whether they'll host it at that event or not. But we're going to go to the Monster. We're going to do a different experience. We'll take in some show content, maybe do a few interviews if we see anybody we know. But in general, I'm going to do a $200 spending challenge. So I'm going to bring $200 cash with me and see what I can get for $200. I'm not very much a buyer in this market right now. I feel like the market's going to continue to go down. I could be wrong, but I'm betting that it will. And I'm going to be on the lookout for Steph Curry. I'm going to be on the lookout for NBA value. I'm going to be on the lookout for some baseball value. Maybe some sealed product. We'll see. But should be a fun show, so stay tuned, guys. Coming up here in a bit. All right, guys, we just parked here in the overflow lot for the Monster. Gonna go ahead and head inside, got my $200 cash, do a $200 spending challenge, see what I can find. That includes my $10 entry fee, so I only got $190, so I need to make this last. So stay tuned, folks. Should be inside in a bit. All right, guys, as we entered the show, just kind of taking in the sights, the show did appear, like I said, in my prediction, a lot less busy than last time. Still saw a pretty good selection of cards. You got some Wander Francos there, some pretty interesting Wanders. I think there was an Orange Ice. Still seeing a lot of the same players. Mike Trout, you name it. This was funny. I actually saw a guy that was selling tons of sealed product. What a turnoff. We'll get into that in a bit. A lot of really other cool baseball products. Mike Trout again. Taking in the general sites. I made sure I covered the entire show floor. Didn't miss anything. I believe I covered every sector of the tables. The $200 spending challenge turned out to be a little bit more difficult than I thought because there were a lot of cards that I could have just bought one card for $200. But in the end, I got 4 cards. You'll see that in the wrap-up video. This last table here that I saw that I bought a card from, he had he knew I was a Curry collector. He said, "Let me show you something. I'm going to bring out my Currys and I'm going to show it to you." So he had the entire collection, I think, of 2016 in the blue, all PSA 10. Really cool to see. He also had a card that you can see in the very top of that screenshot there, the Crusade die cut. I actually have that card in a BGS 9.5. And as I wrapped up the show and kind of just took it in for one last time, I would say overall, it was a pretty good experience again. I wouldn't say that they should host this event in 3 months' time. I would wait. But overall, pretty fun. All right, everybody. Hope you enjoyed the footage from the Midwest Monster. I didn't go on both days. I only went on Saturday. Spent about 5 hours there. It wasn't too bad. Had the $200 spending challenge, which included my $10 entry fee, and I also bought some penny sleeves, so that took me down $20. So I was spending $180 on cards trying to figure out what cards I actually wanted. Now, sure, I could have hit the dollar bins and gone crazy on dollar cards, but I figured this time I'd go for some pieces that I maybe didn't see very often, thought they were a little more unique. Wasn't as critical as far as the grade level, but really wanted to add them to the overall collection of cards that I have. So hope you guys enjoy that. And as we're going through each card here, I'm going to share a little bit of the thoughts from the show. Now, obviously, in the voiceover, you also heard that as well. But first card up here, we've got a Steph Curry. Now, this is an HGA slab. I know that's not great, but it's a Steph Curry Crusade. Looked a little bit like a camouflage. Yeah, it is Crusade camo from 2015, 2016. So it's a little bit older of a card. Just thought it was really cool to look at and didn't see this one very often. So even though it's a HGA slab, I still liked it. So I figured I'd go ahead and pick it up. I think I ended up getting that for $30, which wasn't terrible. I think he had 40 marked on it, so got him down to 30, but it is what it is. So one of the observations that I made when I looked at the show, and it was definitely showing up in the footage, there was a lot of overpriced sealed product there. I saw plenty of people trying to sell like Mosaic. They were trying to sell, I had one guy that had like 150 of these. A couple guys had like the Bowman from last year and the Donruss. They had some Donruss fat packs. I'm not, it's your table. You can do whatever you want. But, generally I would say if you're going to go to the Midwest Monster and be selling at a card show, and whether you're coming from in town or out of town, it would be really nice to see that you actually had some cards to sell, because it is a card show rather than just sealed product that it looks like you were hoarding over the last couple of years, and now you're just trying to dump it on the market and hope that you catch a customer who maybe isn't astute on what the latest market value is. So that was a little disappointed to see. But I was interested to see how much Topps Chrome hobby boxes and jumbo boxes were going to go for now that the silver packs have hit the market. Couple of those, and I know they're probably not coming with a silver pack. My guess is the people that are selling them are actually going to get the silver packs themselves and keep it, so they're just selling the product. They're only interested in the silver pack, and the cheapest I saw Topps Chrome Hobby for at the Midwest Monster was $170 a box, and I think the cheapest I saw in a jumbo box was $349. So I figured, my guess, I think in a live stream I did a couple weeks ago, I said it would kind of bottom out about $150. I don't know if that's true or not. It might go lower, but $170 seems to be right around where the min value was that I was seeing at the moment. So card number 2, this was one of the last pickups I made. I actually have a PSA 9 copy of this. This is the De'Aaron Fox Optic Donruss rookie card in a purple. I think you can get these only out of the retail blaster boxes. I wanted to add a PSA 10 to my collection, and I'm still a big believer in De'Aaron Fox. He's only 24 years old. He should have a really good chance to be very special this year with Mike Brown as the coach. So we'll have to wait and see how this one turns out. But this is kind of like catching a falling knife. I think a couple of years ago, maybe 2 years ago, this card had peaked out at over like $150. I ended up picking this up for $40 cash, which is crazy to think how times have changed. I mean, this card's probably down 75% from where it was just 2 years ago. But I still believe in De'Aaron Fox, and I thought the card looked cool. So even if I never sell it again or never do anything with it, I'm glad I picked it up for what I would consider probably a floor price. So that was card number 2, De'Aaron Fox Purple 2017 Donruss Optic. Couple other things to note about the Midwest Monster as far as observations go. I don't know what it is, but when you go to card shows and you see people set up that they have a lot of unsorted product that just looks literally like they took what was in their garage or their basement and dumped it on a table and spent no time actually lining boxes up straight, having really good, clean boxes. It just looks like they're trying to sell their junk. And I'm sure there's some decent stuff like mixed in with your product. I just have to go find it. But I am not interested in hunting for it if you look like you had no effort that you actually put in to setting up your table in a presentable manner. So those are tables I just literally usually just skip by. I covered the entire show. There was about I would call them about 300 tables. It was not a sellout. It was not as big as last time. Crowd was a little bit down, as you can see from some of the footage today, but also the number of tables that were set up was also down. Not a ton, but it was down. You could definitely tell some of the boundaries of the outliers of the kind of donut shaped, especially the back corner was just pretty empty. So it is what it is. It's a second version of the Monster. I figured the attendance would be down slightly given that it's in fall. And hopefully they don't do another show and don't rush another show in like the March timeframe. I believe this show would do really well if it was twice a year and they were 6 months apart. Do a summer show and do like a January or February show, maybe right around like when NBA is in its prime. So that might do well, but we'll have to wait and see. So
Next card up is a card that I got at the last table I went to. Made a deal on this one for actually he had $50 marked on it. I offered him 40, and I said I'm doing a $200 spending challenge. I have $40 left cash. Will you take it? That's the Steph Curry 2016 Panini Revolution Astro PSA 9. Not the greatest grade, but you know, it's not a card that I saw a lot of comps on eBay, so I was having a really hard time trying to price this card. I didn't even see many raw copies of this card sell, so I'm pretty sure the population on this card is pretty low. And we're big Steph Curry collectors, so I wasn't displeased to add this to the collection one bit. So figured my wife would like it. So we got we got two Steph Currys, and we got one that we're gonna save till the very end. We'll cover a couple other topics here as we move forward in this kind of wrap up. Another thing that struck me as interesting was the fact that the lots of card people are like turning into like mini LLCs. It seems like a lot of card shops that are sort of run out of people's houses. Now that's probably always been the case, but it was amazing to see the number of different card shops, the sort of pop-up card shops, which I'm assuming they probably do breaking. They probably sell and whatnot. They probably maybe have a YouTube channel, and now they're selling at card shows. So it's good to see that the market is growing, but it's also interesting because it's getting a little bit saturated. You know, your steady eddies like the Indie Card Exchange and the Mealy Pops, and I didn't see Card Collector 2 there. I think he probably went to the Vegas show or was off this weekend, but you had a lot of little pop-up ones that I've never seen before at the show. Good to see, but also kind of interesting because there's just so many of them that are sort of branding themselves and start a pop-up business. So they could, if they're over leveraged, they could go out of business. You just never really know. One other thing before I get into the last card that I wanted to make sure I touched on, when it comes to the overpriced wax again, I think I brought this up, and I forgot a comment, but overpriced wax, when you have overpriced wax at your table, like I saw a guy that had Donruss Fat Packs of 2021, 2022 basketball, which is this product right here in a fat pack form. He had $15 marked on them. I don't even think the blaster box on eBay right now goes for $15. So, sir, they're your cards. You can do what you want with them. But if you go to a show, at least be somewhat competitively priced. When you're trying to gouge people for double what you're probably paying for it at retail, and these weren't even hard to get, and the blaster boxes, which were also watered down, are, you know, arguably $15 probably on the secondary market, you're not going to sell any of those. I mean, you might have if there's a kid that comes by who doesn't know any better, but it just feels like really a shady thing to do. I would like to see less of that at a card show, to be honest. But again, it is what it is. That they're your cards. You can do whatever you want with them. So the other thing that really kind of is my pet peeve, and many people have brought this up multiple times, but when I look at card shows and I look at people's cases, what is it with people and not marking a price on their card? I'd never understand that. This had a price. I actually did have to ask this one, but it was the only one I saw, and I was willing to ask just because I thought I'd get a good deal on it. But all the others have prices marked on them, so at least you know the starting point. The last thing that you want to ask in a falling market is for people not to mark their cards, just shoot out a price, and then you're way far apart from what the card should sell for right now if you're going to go on eBay and just buy it now in some cases, or you're going to buy it on an auction. It's just really sad to see that people don't take the time to set any price so they can have sort of a range. I am almost immediately turned off by that. I just skip right past those tables. As soon as I see no prices marked on anything, I was just like, you're lazy. I don't understand this. Like, why are you not marking prices on this? Is this just a museum? Are you not selling anything? Like, tell me where your starting point is, so at least I can see where I'm, going to make an offer on something. The De'Aaron Fox, I figured, when I asked the price on that, I figured the guy would say $40. I was willing to pay $40 because I think the last eBay comps were around that same price. And I said, make me your best offer. What do you have on that? And he said, $40. And I said, that's what I was going to offer you. That was the max I will go. So you got a deal. So anyway, the last card, and probably like the most cool card, was an SGC 10 Steph Curry die cut superstar from Contenders 2020. I've got this, I think, in a raw copy, but I saw it in SGC 10. The guy had like, I think he had $80 marked on it. We settled on 70. I might have overpaid for this, but a PSA 10 copy of this sold for like $115 about a couple months ago. So again, it's a Steph Curry card. We add Steph Curry cards to our collection, no problem. So when I saw this one marked at $80, I was like, well, I at least have to ask if he has any room on it. So he did, and that'll do it. But anyway, guys, hope you guys enjoyed the footage from the Monster. Sorry for rambling on here a little bit. Wanted to make this at least a 15, 16-minute video. So take care, everybody. I'll see you tomorrow. Almost forgot. I'll see you tomorrow. I'm going to make a video of the eating contest. We're eating pumpkin pie over in Jeffersonville, Ohio. So I hope you guys enjoy that footage. Very, very exciting. Going to really give it my all. Hopefully do a lot better than I did in the Brock contest a couple weeks ago. But hope you enjoy that footage and have a great rest of your weekend. See ya.